What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be taking a look over here at the XRP price chart. Of course, we'll take a peek over there at the Bitcoin price chart and update what we've had happening in global markets so far this week. It's already been a crazy start to the week. We're going to touch base on the things we've been touching on for the last week and a half, keeping an eye on all the crazy things happening in the market, like the DXY, which is poking up here against the 2017 high, or the US dollar currency index poking against that high. The erratic action of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which was down 527 points yesterday and then recovered it all in the last hour, closing positive 84. We're also going to talk about Ripple and their XRP markets report for Q1. And then the big overhanging event that's happening tomorrow, the Federal Reserve will be making an announcement regarding interest rate hike. Markets expect the Federal Reserve on Wednesday to announce a 0.5% percentage point increase in its benchmark interest rate. Fears are growing over how aggressive the central bank will have to be to tame inflation, and a recession at this stage is almost inevitable. And this happens tomorrow. So we've seen a lot of price action leading up to that moment. If you remember last month when we had the interest rate hike come from the Federal Reserve of a quarter point, it was right in here. Markets ran up into it as the interest rate was announced. Markets pulled down and then recovered the same day, and then up and away they went after the announcement. But we saw this leading up to that moment. So here we go. That's going to be happening tomorrow. The stock market in general has been relatively weak. The DXY poking against the top up here. Is this the catalyst that changes course of the DXY with some type of surprise coming out of here? Tomorrow's the big day. Either way, we've been talking a lot about the stock market and DXY lately over the course of the last week and a half, really in almost every video. And I know not a lot of people love to hear about the stock market, but we can even see here in the Q1 2022 XRP markets report that Ripple put out yesterday in the crypto market summary. Notably, Bitcoin and equity markets were highly correlated last quarter, with the correlation reaching new all-time highs. So not everybody's favorite thing to keep an eye on these things. I know we're here for crypto, but the reality is they've been correlated. If that correlation continues, seeing the bottom fall out of the Dow Jones probably is not good. So we're cheering for a recovery to come in here, for this thing to start working its way up. So those are the main things that are still keeping my main focus right now, is the US dollar currency index and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And obviously we have a catalyst coming up tomorrow. Those are the things that once I'm done with my video, I go back to putting both those things on my chart and staring at them on the 1 minute time frame, watching those things play out. That's my main focus. I think it's incredibly important from a macro perspective that those things remain bullish. Those things remain bullish, or at least that the dollar reverses and the stock market can turn bullish. I think that's super, super optimistic for crypto. That's my macro case. It's my macro thesis. Dow Jones can recover. Off and away crypto goes with it. And right now we're at support. So seeing those hold are very important. But in this video, primarily, I wanted to talk a lot more about XRP and a lot really about Ripple too, because we got our Q1 2022 XRP markets report out here from Ripple. I think that's important to look at. As you guys know, I don't actually talk about Ripple a tremendous amount on my YouTube channel. I primarily talk about XRP. And as you guys know, Link2 became a sponsor of this YouTube channel. Out of the course of my YouTube channel, 700 videos, been doing this thing since 2019. I've had 2 sponsors in the history of my YouTube channel. I'm super picky on what I pick to be quality enough for me to put my name on it to allow someone to be a sponsor of my YouTube channel. And when I made that decision to bring them on as a sponsor, I thought they were a really good fit because it gives the ability to invest in pre-IPO companies before they go public. But not only that, right? Ripple's on there too. They give you the opportunity to invest in Ripple. And I know a lot of people have interest in that. Whether or not I talk about Ripple a whole lot on my YouTube channel or not, I know a lot of people care about that, right? So you can't go buy Ripple stock out there on the public markets. And we all know buying XRP doesn't buy you equity in Ripple. It's not a security. You don't get to own anything from Ripple by buying XRP. But if you wanted to buy Ripple, if you wanted to have equity ownership in Ripple, you could do that through Link2. So I found that to be a really good fit for my YouTube channel. And I don't think I've told really the story of what it was like when they approached me to become a sponsor on my channel. I think it's important to share that with you. And I want to also tell you what I own over there, because I bet a lot of people want to know, does the blockchain backer own Ripple shares, right? But back there on April 30th, so 3 days ago, Joseph Endoso, or he goes by Joe, is the CEO of Link2. He had a spaces over there on Twitter, and he was talking about Ripple shares, and he was talking about, the startup story of Link2 and how all that played out. It's a good story to hear that, just like with any company, you go through your struggles in the beginning. You don't know if you're going to make it. Like if you've heard the Tesla story, you didn't think it was going to make it. It was at the last final moment. It has a similar story there for Link too. And then when they pulled it out, and then their rocket took off and their business model did great. But when they approached me to become a sponsor on my channel, they pulled out the whole works. Joseph came on there, Joe came on there, their CFO came on there, Nick, Ray, all of them, big Zoom call. When I came into the meeting, I was like, all right, I'll hear you guys out. But then I realized like the whole board showed up for this meeting to talk to me about it. And I was like, okay. And when I left that meeting, I had a really good feeling about them in general. And if you haven't listened to this over here, just to hear them talk and hear their story, you'll understand why I would feel that way when you hear Joe talk, when you hear the genuine discussion that comes out of his mouth and the story. I get probably 10 to 15 companies or projects sliding up in my DMs every day over here on Twitter. Every single day. I just don't even read the messages. It's so many of them. So when I walked into this, I walked into it with the attitude of like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to have you guys on my channel. But I walked away from that thing with a different feeling once I was done with it. I was like, oh my gosh, they might have won me. Because the only reason I even took the meeting in the first place was I thought there was the potential of a good fit on here. And I do invest on their platform. I do actually own shares on their platform. And the big question everybody has, because we're going to be talking about Ripple, we're going to be talking about XRP on this video. And like I mentioned, Link2 is a sponsor of my channel. But the question is, does the blockchain backer own Ripple shares? Now, let me say this. Do I think Ripple is going to be successful? Let me preface this. Not financial advice. Do whatever you want. You take the risk out there on your own, whatever you want to do and whatever you want to invest in. But do I think Ripple is going to be successful? I do. Do I think that Ripple is going to walk away from this SEC case with some type of settlement, or the case ends and something positive happens for them? Regardless, I even played the scenario through my head. What if they end up losing, right? Well, then they just move overseas, right? I create all the scenarios and say, I think Ripple's probably going to walk away from this thing successfully. So do I think that Ripple's an opportunity for me to invest in? And it's a clear, obvious yes for me. Not financial advice, man. Do your research, figure out if that's right for you. But do I own Ripple? And the answer is no, I don't. And there's a really good reason why. It's kind of crazy, right? I think it's a really good investment opportunity for me. I think it's going to do well, and I have FOMO, like I'm going to miss an opportunity by not buying it. But I got asked this question a lot when I went to the Link2 meetup in Dallas a week ago. I got asked all the time, do you own Ripple? Do you own Ripple? And I would say, no, I don't own Ripple. And I had to explain the situation that I'm in, because my situation is different from everybody's situation. I mean, there's a few people the situation is not different, but like mine's different from most people. And mine is different because I'm the blockchain backer. Mine's different because I have this YouTube channel that has 251,000 subscribers on it, where we talk about cryptocurrencies, we talk about XRP. There's XRP on my hat. I wear an XRP hat every day in real life. And I come onto this YouTube channel, 4-5 times a week, and 40, 50, 60,000 people hear my voice every day. It's a super unique situation. I'm super grateful for the situation that I'm in. It's an honor to be in this situation. And I've had to battle with myself that with the situation that I'm currently in, having this YouTube channel, coming on here, having a voice every single day, would I be consciously or subconsciously impacted on the words that come out of my mouth if I owned Ripple? And I can never come to a real clear answer on yes or no. I can never decide whether or not I would be impacted. I don't know. Part of me fears that I would not be sincere in my ability to be critical of Ripple, and that my loyalty is to XRP and XRP holders. And my loyalty is not to Ripple. And I don't want to be influenced when I come on my YouTube channel to where if something happens that I can't say something about it because I'm more worried about it impacting my Ripple shares than I am about being sincere on my YouTube channel. Again, do I think Ripple is going to be successful? And if I didn't have the YouTube channel, would I have bought that? Absolutely, I would have bought it. But I want you all to know that I don't. I don't own Ripple. XRP is my number one cryptocurrency holding. It's the most crypto I hold out of any crypto. and my loyalty is to XRP. And while this case is ongoing with the SEC and with Ripple, I don't know. And like, so you guys know I'm critical, right? I doubt things. I'm skeptical of everything. And I have to say to myself in the back end, like, I don't know what has gone on behind the scenes with Ripple and with the SEC in regards to any type of settlement offers that have happened there. And has Ripple been presented with any type of offer that would have alleviated XRP from the wrath of the markets, that would have let it go to go hit its 4.236 extension like Ethereum and like Bitcoin did? But maybe there was some type of settlement offer that got turned down by Ripple because Ripple was looking out for Ripple more than they were looking out for XRP holders. I'm not saying that has happened, but I have no way to know, right? If you're a Ripple shareholder, are you upset that Ripple is looking out for Ripple? No, that's what you want, right? You're good with it. If you hold Ripple shares, you're like, yeah, as long as Ripple's looking out for Ripple, that's all good. And I'm not saying that Ripple hasn't accepted some type of offer or if there was something presented, because I have no idea, but I don't know, right? So how do I come onto my YouTube channel when we're talking about cryptocurrencies and my loyalty is to XRP, but at the same time on the back end, I'm over here holding Ripple shares? Does that impact what I have to say? I hope you follow what I'm saying. It's merely a conflict in my own mind of whether or not I can come on here and be sincere with you if I own Ripple shares. Are Ripple shares something I want to buy because I think Ripple is going to be successful? You better believe it, I want to. But I know dang well what brought me to the party of being a content creator, and that's XRP. And my loyalty is more tied to XRP than it is to Ripple. And I have to make sure that line does not get blurred for me because I have this YouTube channel. So to answer the question, I don't own Ripple shares, but I don't think it's wrong that Ripple wants to do anything to protect themselves. But I can't come onto my YouTube channel and be conflicted on the words that come out of my mouth when I don't know all the answers. You know what I mean? So what do I own over here? Well, like I mentioned, if you come over here and you listen to this space that's held here by Joe, the CEO of Link2, and hear the sincerity in him. And after I had that meeting with the CEO, the CFO, Ray and Nick, and understood what was going on with them, I not only accepted them as a sponsor of my channel, but I also invested in them. So when I come on here and I say, this is the sponsor of my YouTube channel, it's not because somebody's coming on here and just somebody offered me money in my DMs and great, let's have them on. I'm very selective on what I bring onto my channel, and I have to believe in it. Not only have I put money on the platform and used it, but I've invested it in Link2, and I own Link2 shares. I use the wire transfer. I know you can use Uphold to do it. I know those are the two funding methods. You can fund it with crypto or you can fund it with a wire transfer. I did wire transfer. I bought Link2 shares. And I thought I would share that with you because I get asked all the time, do I own Ripple? And I wanted to be real clear that I don't. And it's not because I don't believe in Ripple and I don't think Ripple is going to be successful. It's because of my YouTube channel. And I wanted you to know that I accepted a sponsor on the channel that I believe in, and I've even invested in them. And while they are a sponsor of this video, they're not sponsoring me, telling me to come on here and say, hey, pitch the Link2 shares. They're not doing that. This is my choice that I wanted to share this all with you. You guys know it. A lot of times they're running the promotions by Ripple shares, get XRP back. But I wanted to share with you, I own Link2. And it's not just them being a sponsor. It's something that I do believe in, and I use the product, and I invested in them more than just thinking that they're a good company to be a sponsor of my channel, but I even invested in them as a company. And I wanted to share that with you and be transparent with you on what I own on the platform. Let you know I don't own Ripple, not because I don't believe in it. I think it's a good thing, but at the same time, I have to make sure that I'm not conflicted in the words that come out of my mouth on here when my loyalty is with XRP rather than being with Ripple. I wish no harm on Ripple. I want Ripple to be very successful. I want Ripple to utilize XRP and all their services and all that stuff. I think it's wonderful. And I certainly want them to do well. But my number one priority is XRP. There you go. That's my Link2 story. And I promise in future videos, we won't have this long of segments about Link2. But it's very rare that I have sponsors on this channel. And you guys know that. And the people who have been around for a long time, it's new to see like a sponsor on the channel because it just doesn't happen very often. But I wanted to tell you the full story. And I wanted you to know where I'm coming from on all of it. So you get why they're here. I believe in the idea. I believe in the idea of giving people the opportunity to invest in IPO prior to it going public. We see what happens after these things IPO. All the money gets made on these things prior to them going IPO. And so the concept of giving more people the opportunity to get in on the earlier stages made a whole lot of sense to me. And then not only that, but Link2's got a lot of like the crypto companies on there, right? Uphold, Ripple, BitPay, Dapper Labs, BlockFi. It's a lot of crypto startups in there. And that's why I thought it was a really good fit. So, and my goal is not to pitch you a ton of products when you come on here. I've really kind of tamed down on the BC Backer stuff. Don't really talk about unstoppable domains much. Your viewing experience is important to me, and I'm not here to bombard you. And I'm trying to find the right fit for moving forward. And this feels like a really good fit for just kind of a transitional move on the channel as I'm focusing on a lot of different things. Just kind of taming down on bcbacker.com and having some kind of cool things in the pipeline. We'll move on, but I wanted to share that with you. I don't own Ripple. I do own Link2 shares. I think it's an awesome opportunity to invest in companies before they go IPO and get in before the public does. So if you think that's cool, if you want to check that out, there is always a link to Link2 in the description of my videos down in here, where you can check to see if you can get yourself accredited to invest in companies prior to them IPOing. So moving on to XRP. In yesterday's video, I addressed what I'm getting a lot of comments about. It's saying that this is a descending triangle here. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this right in here, but essentially people are calling this a descending triangle. The rule for a descending triangle is that you have to already be in a downtrend for a descending triangle to emerge, and then to measure the distance of a breakdown for a descending triangle is the length of the actual triangle. And for that to happen, you'd go down into, negative 85, 88 cents. And I tried to kind of squash that. That's not what's going on here. It doesn't mean, of course, we don't want the price to dip down. It doesn't, anything's possible in markets, but the reality is it seems way more likely to me of a crash, retrace, reaccumulation happening in here at this point. We'd all hate to see the price break down lower at this point, but there's zero chance that it's a descending triangle, because a measured move on a descending triangle would break it down to zero. If it broke these lows, we'd have to assess it and see what is happening in here, but it's absolutely not a descending triangle. I find it far more likely, since we're in an actual uptrend in this happening, that we're in consolidation. And I showed this compared to 2017, and I've spent, weeks and months comparing this to crash, retrace, reaccumulation structures that we're still within it. As long as we're within it, as long as we're holding the lows, it's all fine. But you have to, recognize, we talk about sentiment a lot in the market. And trust me, I'm right there. You hear me. I'm watching the 1 minute charts on the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the 1 minute charts on the DXY. Sure, even my sentiment's a little, sketched out right now about what's happening in the markets. But historically, everybody always gets scared on top of supports, and everybody always gets real euphoric at the upper bounds, right? So it's normal for everyone to say, we're going to break down. This is going to break down, because we're in the maximum pain area that we've been in for over a year. And while we still have to wait to see what happens in here, it's not unusual from what we've seen. We've seen times where we come down into this max pain area multiple times for XRP before a breakout does emerge. And in the same scenario, back to a 618 Fibonacci extension level or Fibonacci retracement level as that continues on. So uncomfortable for sure. Macro picture, cloudy, big event coming up really soon. Bitcoin hasn't provided any type of optimism lately, but until that support breaks, I can't assume that it will, because this has happened into an uptrend. This has not happened into a downtrend, which is what a descending triangle would be. If we had fallen down in here and we're doing this, that would be a different story. I wouldn't be sitting here saying, this looks like a crash, retrace, reaccumulation. This would look like a descending triangle. But the difference is we came up to it in an uptrend to start the consolidation. So I'll remain with my bullish perspective on XRP. As long as these lows are holding, the picture is clear to me. If we get below there, picture becomes very unclear. But right now, still a crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Consolidation pattern that we've seen play out many times. And in those many times, the market breaks to the upside. Which brings me back to the Q1 2022 XRP markets report and the outlook for XRP. And down here, they talk about the NFT spotlight. The NFT market broke records last quarter as total marketplace volume surpassed a whopping $35 billion last quarter. And then down here, the XRP ledger, XRPL in the NFT space. Since the launch of the Creator Fund, Ripple has received over 4,000 applicants for NFT projects across gaming, metaverses, entertainment, art, and more for NFTs on the XRP ledger. Even yours truly, the blockchain backer, applied for it. And I got denied, but don't worry, I'm not salty. But it even mentions the XRP ledger has some inherent advantages for tokenized assets such as low cost efficiency with near zero fees to mint, no smart contract requirements for basic functionality, and was the first major blockchain to be carbon neutral. The XLS20 update, Rippled 1.9.0, which you can see over here on xrpl.org, was released with key contributions from RippleX, including XLS20 on DevNet. While the team is excited to contribute additional NFT functionality to the XRP ledger, stability and scalability remain key priorities for the XRP ledger community. It will enable a native NFT object on the XRP ledger, which will require 80% of validators to vote in favor of XLS20, which, based on a conversation that I saw David Schwartz have a couple of weeks ago, is that his timeline was that we could be voting on this within the next couple of months. So hopefully 2 months from then, so maybe a month and a half or so away from now. Ripple reinforces that Ripple only operates 4 of the 144 known validators on the XRP ledger. Huge argument that it's very centralized or that the ledger is centralized, and we can see Ripple owns 4 of them. There are 140 that operated independently of Ripple. But I think this is the major event coming to XRP soon, to take a piece of the pie of the marketplace volume moving on to the XRP ledger. And I, for one, am pretty excited about it because, for the most part, a lot of discussion with XRP has always been, with payments. I mean, it's fast. If you've used XRP, if you've moved it, it's ridiculous. You push the button, send, boom, you check your other wallet. It's literally there like before you could blink. It's unlike any other of these cryptos that are super popular for these NFTs right now. And I think, once people recognize that this stuff can happen really fast and all the complaints of gas fees, I think we'll see a new use case emerging for XRP right here, where you don't have to really sell the market on the use case, right? And that's what I always like it to be, when we can explain things to grandma in a very simple way, where you don't have to sell grandma on the idea. Grandma already sees the problem. Grandma understands that things are slow and that things are expensive. And if things can be more efficient, faster, and cheaper, it's an easy pitch to where the market doesn't even have to be sold on the idea. The market just migrates on its own to what's faster and what's cheaper. And I'm excited to see that coming to XRP. I'm excited to see this new use within the crypto ecosystem coming to XRP pretty soon. So I like that we have kind of something to look forward to outside of everybody talking about, hey, the case has to wrap up, all that stuff. But there's an additional thing that is coming soon. And we kind of have a timeline on that of being just a couple of months to where NFTs are going to be on the XRP ledger. And I think that's really exciting. So in the next couple of months, pretty exciting. But as for the next couple of days, we got to watch out. The good news for the macro picture in this short term, because we're kind of like living at this minute to minute moment until we get through that Fed meeting. At least the Dow Jones is up almost 200 points for the morning. The lows are still holding and everything is okay for right now. We know back in March when that meeting happened, there was a rise prior to the meeting and then a quick sell-off into the announcement of the rate hike. I won't be surprised if we see something similar like that happen over here in the stock market. And I'm hoping we can kind of hold ourselves up to be able to sustain that pullback. And then once we can start moving our way out, you will see me start to breathe a very big sigh of relief once this thing can start getting up in here. And I will start laying down my wall of worry that we have as we're down here at the lows. So over the next couple of days, this is the big moment that I'm watching right now. And as long as we can see the markets start to pull up and confidence return back in the stock market after we get through that meeting, I think optimism will return back to the cryptocurrency market. But we've got to get through this moment to see this stuff hold in here. Because even as Ripple mentions over here in the Q1 XRP market report, we are tied heavily to the equity market. So let's get some confidence restored back in here, and the bullhorns will get ripping and roaring. So I'm optimistic on the structure of XRP. I'm optimistic on the future of XRP, but I know we're living minute to minute right now over there in the stock market, and we need to get through this moment right here for a little bit more clarity in the market. And fortunately, we should have that in the next couple of days. And as I approach the end of this video and get prepared to go flip this thing to the 1 minute chart to entertain my day for the rest of the day. By the way, nobody should ever trade 1 minute charts. Just saying. This is me being crazy. But as I stare and watch paint dry all day, I'll be hoping to see that the DJI or the Dow Jones Industrial Average can just kind of hang out in its range in preparation for the Fed meeting tomorrow, and that crypto can sustain itself during that time too. But I wanted to spend time on this video because these are all the things I'm still focusing on. These are things we kind of talked about every day for the last week and a half, that these things are still massively impacting macro pictures for me. The Euro USD, the DXY, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. All these things are still really big, important things to me. And I don't want to beat a dead horse too terribly since I've been beating it pretty hard for the last week, but it still feels like we're living in the minute to minute moments of this. But we have our big Fed meeting tomorrow. And I really wanted to talk more about XRP. And I really wanted to share with you guys too, the things about me and whether I'm invested in Ripple or am I more in XRP and what all that is with the sponsorship being on my channel and my conviction in the sponsorship that I took, that I chose to buy Link2 shares on Link2 and I didn't buy Ripple. And I wanted to explain all the ins and outs of my thinking and logic with all of that. So I'm super proud. I'm super happy to have these guys as a partner on my channel. And I wanted to share that with you so you know where I'm coming from. And so on that note, we'll go ahead and get to the end of this thing and wrap this thing up. I hope that you guys are doing well out there. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out the sponsor of the channel, Link2, you can check out the link in the description of this video. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.